not closing the facility and we are not selling.
A nursing home described as a dangerous place for patients is refusing a state order to sell. Florida's Agency for Healthcare Administration is giving the Crestwood Nursing Center until June the 30th to find a new buyer, saying conditions there are unacceptable.
On your side's Robert Bradfield investigates what the center's nurses told state investigators.
The Crestwood Nursing Center is open and operating, but the state says it found deficiencies that could cause serious injury, harm, impairment, or death to a resident. This 54-page report reveals at least one incident where a patient did die after a 5-minute delay on starting CPR when they were found unresponsive.
We want the residents to get good care. That's the bottom line.
Brian Lee is the executive director of Families for Better Care, a nonprofit consumer advocacy group. He read the state's report and is familiar with Crestwood's past, which included a moratorium last year on accepting new patients. That was lifted earlier this year.
It was pretty bad, that to the point where they issued this emergency sanction against the facility. And it was really kind of like the shot across the bow, the line in the sand, if you will.
Nurses told state investigators they are certified in CPR, but did not feel comfortable doing it. The center was fined $53,000 for several violations, and this order, which was signed by Crestwood's president and attorney, gives them until June 30th to find a new owner. The center is not eligible to renew its license.
We are not closing Crestwood, nor are we planning on selling anytime in the future.
Crestwood's administrator Brenda Smith disputed the state's findings, calling them inaccurate. But in a statement, the state's Agency for Healthcare Administration confirmed to First Coast News Crestwood must change ownership in 120 days. Smith says its residents are staying put.
Now, a spokesperson for the state did tell me if no new owner comes forward under Florida law, though, nursing homes are required to relocate their residents. If you do have a loved one in a nursing home facility or are thinking about it, there are resources out there that can help you do some research before you make that decision. We do have a link along with this story on firstcoastnews.com. Robert Bradfield, First Coast News, on your side.